welcome to What's Cooking, New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Heart's Beat Back, Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Well, today we have a very special guest who came all the way down from Wasilla, Alaska to be with us. Welcome, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Now, Wyatt is just here visiting for the holidays. We're going to put some of his great recipes to work. So tell us a little bit about what we're going to be making today and a little bit about why we chose it.
Well, today we are making halibut and chickpea salad. It's got some great ingredients in it. We choose salmon because
halibut isn't too available right now.
No, it's not available, and I'm from Alaska, so we figured we'd choose something like salmon.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the salmon. So people can come and fish up there, but if you live there, you can catch a little bit more. Isn't that right?
Yes, it is.
Good. So what's our limit?
Usually you can do dip netting, and you can have about 60 fish per family.
Wow, per day?
Oh no, just per year.
Season.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of salmon. So, and down here in the lower 48, we pay a nice price for salmon. It is very high in those omega-3 fatty acids, and is one of those things that we've asked you to eat more of on the Mediterranean diet. So if you can find ways to bring in the salmon, replace some of our beef or pork, or use it throughout your diet, maybe once or twice a week, it's going to be a great addition, help bring down that bad cholesterol and bring up the good. So let's go through our ingredients here a little bit, Wyatt. I want to explain a few things.
Okay.
We're going to be using something, we did go with the salmon today, which we've already baked off. This was easy for us to make. We went ahead, put it on a piece of tin foil on top of a baking sheet, put it in the oven for about 15 minutes, and it's ready to go. As soon as it starts to flake or pull away from the skin, that's when we know salmon is well baked. We added a little bit of olive oil to this and a little bit of pepper, and that was it. We did not use any salt on this to make sure we're following those heart healthy guidelines and watching our blood pressure standards. So that was an easy one for us to do, and it's all ready to go. We're going to be using some romaine lettuce. A different option for this would have been to add something like an arugula to add a different flavor. And we're going to go over the different greens that we've chosen here as well. Also, to add some flavor, even here in December, we picked up a kohlrabi, which a lot of us like to eat out of the garden in the summer, but we forget about in the winter. That's going to add a different flavor to this salad. And the last thing we chose is, this is a fennel. So fennel has that black licorice flavor to it. It's going to add a lot of zest to this salad and really make it unique. So we're going to have Wyatt cut that fennel up for us once we get going as well. We are making our own homemade dressing. We'll be using some olive oil, a little bit of honey with that, some lemon juice, and some allspice. Now, our protein source is not just the salmon with this recipe, but we're going to be using garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. A lot of us have seen these before if we've ever had hummus. Hummus does come from these chickpeas ground up, and so we know that they're high in protein, high in fiber, and yet they don't contain any cholesterol. So a really great recipe, going to be very filling, some really unique flavors to it, and yet we're going to be very heart healthy, and we're going to get all that protein in. So a great recipe, and we're going to get it started. So Wyatt, why don't you go ahead, and we'll have you cut up the tomatoes. We're going to be using some grape tomatoes in here. Bring down the fennel and the kohlrabi. These will all be nice foods to have. And I'm going to go ahead and dice up this salmon just a little bit. Now, the nice thing about this salmon is it's just going to flake right apart. We don't need to cut it in any perfect squares. We don't need to do anything special with it. We're just going to break this apart, and it's going to add a lot of flavor into our salad. So we'll break that apart.
Yeah.
So now, Wyatt, what do you like to do? Where are some unique places in Alaska you've been?
Well, I have been as far as Fairbanks, Alaska. It's a little bit below the Arctic Circle.
Okay.
To the farthest east in Alaska, I've been to Tok. That's near the border of Canada. And farthest south I've ever been is probably Homer.
Okay.
Good place to fish.
Great. Now, we also get a lot of great blueberry jam sent down, and you guys can pick those right by your place. Isn't that right?
That's true.
Good. Now, right now, about how many hours of daylight are you getting up there?
As it is, we get about 6 hours right now.
Okay, so those are your shortest days. So there's not actually complete darkness. You do get a little light even in the middle of the winter, right?
Yep, we get a little bit of light.
Okay, and in the summer?
In the summer, it's usually about 22 hours of light a day.
All right, and how do you sleep?
I manage through it, and I go to bed. It's pretty easy.
It doesn't bother you,
No,
huh?
it doesn't bother me.
All right. Well, we're going to let Wyatt go ahead and start cutting all these vegetables up, and we're going to check in with Holly and see what's new for Fit in 5.
Welcome to this week's Fit in 5. When we think of an exercise routine, very often we think about cardiovascular endurance and muscular strength. Sometimes what we forget about, though, is proper and good balance. It doesn't matter whether you're a senior citizen or a senior athlete. Having good balance is key for fall and injury prevention. Today we're going to go over 3 exercises that you can use to improve your balance right in your very own home if you choose. First, we're going to talk about your base of support. When I'm standing in a position like this, my legs are actually my base of support. The wider my legs are, the more balance and the more stability I have. So we can actually work on our balance by just decreasing our base of support a little bit. We can stand up nice and tall with our abdominal and back muscles in, nice and tight, and just gradually start bringing the legs together until we feel more and more balanced with a narrow base of support. We can even take this a step further by adding in some type of exercise with a narrow base of support. So I can stand here and do a lateral raise for the shoulders or a bicep curl or anything that I already have in my exercise routine and help build on my balance. The second way we can work on our balance is very simple. We can widen our base of support just a little bit and then just practice picking up one leg or the other. So I can be standing watching TV, working in the kitchen, and just practice lifting one leg up at a time until I can gradually get that leg higher and extend it out a little bit more. We could even work on extending forward or to the side and continue to build our balance that way. If you like to do a lot of yoga, yoga will actually incorporate a lot of balancing poses into your routine. The third way we can practice balance is a little trickier. We can actually use our vision or take our vision away. So say I want to improve my balance, I can practice just standing with a narrow base of support and closing my eyes, feeling my body work to balance through my core muscle group. If that is fairly easy and we want to maybe build on that a little bit to improve our balance, we can actually close our eyes and then practice lifting one leg up at a time. If you're not well versed in practicing balance this way, you may want to have a wall beside you that you can use for just a little bit of support, and then you can gradually just take your hand off the wall to improve your balance. Building balance and having good balance isn't just important for our senior years. We actually want to practice good balance throughout our lifetime. It will help improve our prevent injuries and falls as we gradually get older. With this week's Fit in 5, I'm Holly. Have a good one.
All right, thanks, Holly. Make sure we're all staying active, staying fit, and keeping in mind that we need to get that exercise for 150 minutes per week and get out there 5 days a week. That's our ideal. If you can go above that, that's even better. Remember, that is our 5 a day. We want to make sure you're getting 150 minutes of physical activity. Eat 5 fruits and vegetables per day. Make sure you're eating 5 small meals. Try to lose just 5 pounds, and take 5 minutes for yourself to decrease your stress. Follow along with that, and you can be sure your heart health will improve, and we'll see your Heart of New Ulm score go up. All right, Wyatt, go ahead, and we're going to work on that fennel. When we're cutting the fennel, we're finding that this is going to be very much like a black licorice flavor. It's going to really change your salad, and if it's not something you've had before, go ahead and buy it. You can actually eat it just like you would a kohlrabi. You can have it fresh. Have small pieces of it as well. But it does add a new texture and a new flavor to any salad that you're having. Now what I did today is I wanted to bring in some of our different greens. So the base of our salad today is going to be our romaine lettuce. I've always encouraged people to move away from the iceberg. There's not a lot of nutrients in there. If you're not quite ready to go to anything heavier than that, the romaine is a good choice. One way to add some flavor, change it up a little bit, and make sure you're not getting salad fatigue is to try some different green leafies. So what we have here, this is called curly mustard. These are mustard greens, and they're very strong. So if you took off, in a full-size salad, you could break off just a few of these leaves and add them into your salad, and you're going to find out that you're going to have a uniquely very spicy salad that's going to have quite a bit of zip to it. So look for these at any of our groceries. These are called, again, the curly mustard. The next thing that I brought in to add a little flavor is going to be, these are called endives. Again, this is going to have a little bit more of a, maybe a dusky or a woody flavor to it. It's going to really add some new flavor to it. Again, these dark leafies are going to be very high in vitamin K. They're going to have a lot of zinc and some other nutrients in there too that you wouldn't find in things like iceberg lettuce. So if you can even add, now it wouldn't be the whole salad, but break off a few of these leaves, add some flavor in there and change it up a little bit, you're going to find that you're going to enjoy your salads a little bit more. The last one I brought in then, these are going to be your collard greens or Swiss chards. Both of those will fall into this category. You're going to see it has a very curly, tough texture. Again, going to change the texture of the salad that you're eating and a very distinct flavor. Now this one could be more of a base. You could use a little bit more of this than you would of your mustards or different dark leafies to add a little flavor, change the texture, and really make your salad unique. Now these are going to go with different dressings. Today we're going to be making a nice balsamic vinaigrette, and so that would be fine. You could use that, but it's not going to go with something like a ranch. It's just going to have a little bit of a different texture, so you can try that as well. Remember, these are going to really add to that nutrient profile. It takes about 2.5 cups of these to get to 1 vegetable serving, so try to get as many of those in as you can. Change up your salads and try to avoid that salad fatigue. All right, Wyatt, how is that going with your fennel?
We are doing good. I have this all diced up, and
right.
I'm about to get to this.
What's that called? That's called a kohlrabi.
Yep, my kohlrabi.
All right. Well, he's doing that. I'm going to go ahead and start to put our salad together. You go ahead and you can start on your kohlrabi. So this is going to call for several cups. We're going to make enough for about 4 to 6 servings. So we're going to use a pretty good sized portion here. I'm going to add that in. Now with this, in the romaine, you can see that there's also some red cabbage in there, some carrots. It just adds a little bit of extra flavor. You know, I do like to buy the bagged because they're easier to prepare. If I were to cut up all of these vegetables at home myself, there's a good chance I wouldn't have this salad. I didn't have the time, and it's just a lot easier for me to open the bag and have it ready to go. So oftentimes I receive the question, well, is it okay to buy the bagged vegetables? And most certainly it is. They are going to cost you more, but if it's going to help you eat your vegetables and you're going to have less waste, because we all know of the cabbage head or lettuce head that we've purchased didn't cut up and ended up throwing the whole thing away. So, if you're willing to eat them this way, you're going to get your vegetables. It is a good investment and a good way to bring in your vegetables. All right, so on top of this then, we're going to go ahead and add in these chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Remember that these are going to be very high in fiber. We're going to get 6 grams per serving. Our goal for the day is 25 to 35 grams. So this is a good start if you're getting 1 serving of these beans. They do not contain any cholesterol. They don't have any fat. So this is ideal to meet our protein needs without adding that cholesterol or fat into our diet. Okay? With that then, I've diced up our salmon. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there as well. Wyatt, I'm going to go ahead and have you throw in your tomatoes.
Okay,
and
excellent.
your fennel.
Okay. And tomatoes.
Okay. We did use about 10 of the grape tomatoes. We had Wyatt cut those in half. And go ahead and throw in some of your fennel. Now, because Wyatt isn't a big fan of the fennel, we're just going to use a little bit of it. And he can pick it out when we're eating it. All right? Okay. We won't use too much. And I'm going to go ahead and mix that up while you finish cutting up your kohlrabi.
Okay.
So you can see that this color is going to be pretty nice. It's so far been a very easy salad for us to make. And yet it's going to have a very distinct and unique flavor, high in protein, high in fiber, and low in our saturated fat. Mix that up a little bit more. Okay, the next thing we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and make our salad dressing. And with this, we're going to be using our extra virgin olive oil. Another question I get quite often is, what's the difference between a virgin olive oil and a regular olive oil? Virgin olive oil just means this is the first pressing. So when that olive is first pressed, it's going to have the strongest flavor of olive. And it's also going to have a little bit more antioxidants in it. So if it's something you're watching very carefully or you enjoy the taste of the olive oil, definitely look for the virgin olive oil. If you're okay with the second or third pressing and don't want to pay the extra premium, the nutrients really are pretty close, and you're going to get those good fats. So go ahead and stick with your regular olive oil. With that then, we added a 1/4 cup of our salad dressing, of our olive oil. We're just going to add about 2 teaspoons here of our lemon juice. And then a little bit of our allspice. This is something that has a lot of different flavors all packed in one. It is an individual flavor. If you haven't had allspice in the past, make sure you're trying just a little bit of it. And make sure you like it before you add it into your recipes. We'll put that there. And our secret ingredient for this is going to be just a little bit of honey. Mix that up.
There you go.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Mm-hmm. Okay, our kohlrabi is now cut up, and we're ready for that.
All right, go ahead and put that in our bowl as well.
Okay.
All right, that honey is going to add to the consistency. It's going to add that little bit of sweetness that we're looking for, and it's really going to spread that out. So Wyatt and I have a pretty good system for putting on the dressing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Wyatt, here you go. Get this bowl over here. Now we want to coat everything with the dressing. This isn't, because we have quite a different variety in here, we need all the flavors to work together. So I'm going to keep mixing, and Wyatt's just going to pour that in slowly as I turn this lettuce or the romaine over and get it coated over everything. Okay. All right, and one more. Put that in there. Perfect.
There we go.
So now we have the flavor of the salmon, which many times, if you were to bake this off, we could glaze with the honey. And now we're finding that in our salad as well. So that's going to fit in there just perfectly. The fennel and the kohlrabi are going to add that crispness that we're looking for in a traditional salad. Mm-hmm. And our chickpeas are going to add that high protein, high fiber. And that's it. This salad looks like it's about ready to go. So Wyatt, what do you think? Is this going to make the criteria for an Alaskan meal?
Oh yes, that is a very, very good meal.
Yeah. So what other ways would you eat your salmon if you have it in the freezer almost every day?
Well, often we will bake it with salmon, with lemon juice and some special seasonings. I don't know what those are yet, but it works, and it's really good. Otherwise, you can fry it if you really wanted to.
Yep.
Batter it.
Yep. It's also great on the grill. Remember, you can put that in your tin foil, add a little bit of our seasoning and that olive oil to add the good fats into our diet, help bring up our good cholesterol and down our bad, and know that this is going to make for a healthy meal. Salmon, halibut, trout, all available up in Alaska and sent down here. Mm-hmm. Try to look for these things in our grocery stores as well. These unique flavors are what are going to keep your diet interesting. When we talk about losing weight or watching our cholesterol, so often people feel that this is a punishment or something that they're not going to enjoy. But work at those recipes, find some unusual foods, and make sure you're really enjoying the foods that we eat. We take a lot of pleasure in eating, and we should continue to do that on a heart-healthy diet. So I think we've done a pretty good recipe here, Wyatt.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, well, I think we're ready to eat. That's it for this week's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. I'll see you next week.